Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level mathematics course, and today we're going to be talking about probability. Okay, so probability is the measure of how likely something is to happen. And so what are some of the ways that we use probability in our everyday lives? Well, one of the most common is weather forecasting. So we talk about being a 20% chance of rain, a 30% chance of snow. There's a tornado warning or a hurricane warning. So we look at probability, especially in terms of weather forecasting. So here, see if you can match the beginning of each sentence to the sentence endings. You can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so number one, a weather forecaster uses probability, and that goes with letter G, to determine the chance of rain. A scientist uses probability to decide the effectiveness of a vaccine. A stockbroker uses probability to predict the rate of returns on a client's investments. A person thinks about probability to decide whether to buy a lottery ticket. A car insurance company uses probability to determine how likely an accident is to happen. A sports betting company uses probability to determine how likely a team is to win a game. Many retail companies use probability to predict the chances that they'll sell a certain amount of goods in a specific amount of time. And the environmental departments of countries use probability to determine how likely it is that a natural disaster, like an earthquake, will strike a country. So those are all some of the more common ways that we can use probability in day-to-day life. All right, so now complete the information about probability with the words below. We've got certain, impossible, formula, percentage, outcome, and event. Again, you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. All right, so probability is measured in fractions between 0 and 1. 0 is impossible. 1 is certain. Sometimes probability is represented as a percentage from 0% to 100%. In probability, we talk about events and outcomes. An event is anything that happens, and an outcome is the result of what happens. A coin flip, for example, can have two possible results, heads or tails. When you flip a coin, an event, the result or outcome is either heads or tails. Probability tells you which outcome, heads or tails, is more likely to occur in any given event. And the probability of an event occurring can be shown with the formula P parentheses event equals the number of times event occurred divided by the total number. All right, predicting percentages. So how can you read the following percentages? So the first one is 25.6%, 12.602%, and 78%. So see if you can predict what percentage of the circles below are shaded. And again, you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so for picture A, we would say that's about 70%, so not quite 3/4. Picture B, 34%, so a little over a third. So just about a third. Picture C, 95%. There's only a very small percentage that is not shaded. And picture D, it's not quite half, so we would say 42%. Okay, likely to. We use likely and unlikely to say that something will probably happen or not happen in the future. We can follow likely or unlikely by an infinitive verb with to. So be, seem, either with unlikely or likely to, and then a verb. So here, the school is, that is the to be verb, likely to have a homecoming dance this year. So likely to have. We can follow likely or unlikely with a clause with will. It seems unlikely that I will have a free period in the spring semester. Here she's saying it is likely to rain today. And then you can practice answering these questions for yourself. What is likely to happen this week? What is unlikely to happen this week? What are you likely to do this year? And what are you unlikely to do this year? And then, how sure are you? We can use modal verbs like will, might, may, or could, and adverbs like probably and definitely to show how sure we are. So if we're very sure, 100%, we could use a word like definitely. He will definitely stay home if it rains. If we're almost completely sure, 90 to 99% sure, we can use will or won't. She will pass the test. She won't be late. If we're almost sure, 80 to 90%, we can use a word like probably. We probably won't be able to go to the party. He will probably finish all his homework before dinner. And if you're not sure, if it's about 50-50, she might be late, or he might not get the job. So now answer each question with either definitely, definitely not, probably, probably not, or might not for yourself. So do you think you will do some exercise today? Yes, I will probably do some exercise today. Okay, so then you can try all of these on your own and then restart the video when you're ready to continue. All right, does order matter? When we learn about probability, we learn about combinations and permutations. So complete the sentence with the correct response. We use permutations when order is important or not important. We use combinations when order is important or is not important. So how can we read these formulas? Where n equals the total number of objects to choose from, and r equals the number of objects selected. So the formula is read, the n permutation r equals the n factorial over n minus r factorial. N combination C equals n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. A combination lock should really be called a permutation lock because the order you put the numbers in matters. All right, so next we're going to talk about, we'll continue to talk a little bit about order. So read the word problem and decide if order is important, and then explain the reason for your answer, but don't solve the problem. So the example question, there are 8 people competing for a prize. How many ways can first, second, and third place be awarded? Order is important because first place and second place and third place are different. Receiving third place is not the same as receiving first place. So go ahead and pause the video, try these on your own, writing the sample answers. giving examples, the reason for your answer, and then restart when you're ready to check. All right, number one, sorry. There is a team of 18 players. The coach wants to select two players as captains. How many different pairs can be selected? Well, here, order's not important because any two students could potentially be the captain, so it doesn't really matter what order the coach considers those students in. A menu has 8 different dessert options. If you want to order 2 desserts, how many different options do you have? Well, again, order's not important. You've got 8 to choose from. You can choose 2. You can choose those 2 in any order, so it doesn't really matter. A clothing store sells a shirt that you like in 5 different colors. Put the colors in order from your favorite to your least favorite. So here, order is important because you're ranking the items from favorite to least favorite. Number 4, it is your job to create license plates for cars. How many different ways can 3 numbers and 3 letters be mixed together? Order would be important in license plates. And you are ordering a pizza with 3 toppings. There are 10 toppings to choose from. How many pizzas can you create? Order's not really important here because you can mix and match any 3 toppings out of the 10, so it doesn't really matter what order you choose them in. Alright, so it says we're going to play the game rock, paper, scissors. So scissors beat paper, rock beats scissors, and paper beats rock. So if 2 people are playing the game, how many outcomes does a game have? So label each outcome as a winner for player A, a win for player B, or a tie. And then you'll answer the questions. What is the probability of getting a tie? What is the probability of winning? Is the game fair? And then for fun, if you want to, you can play the game with a partner for 18 times and record your results. Were your results similar to the probability? All right, we'll check the answers on this. So the probability of getting a tie is 3 out of 9, or 1/3, 33%. The probability of winning is also 33%. And so, yes, the game is fair. And as far as whether your results mirrored the probability, that will vary. It'll just depend on the outcome of when you tried this. But hopefully it'll be close to either 1/3 of the time you got a tie, or 1/3 of the time either one of these won. So, all right, given that, conditional probability is a measure of a probability of an event occurring given that another event has already occurred. Given that means knowing that or considering specific information. There's a 0.6 or 60% probability that it will rain given that it is cloudy outside. So I know that it is cloudy outside, and there's a 60% chance of rain when it is cloudy. So we use given that plus the information that we know and the probability that something will happen. Probability that something will happen given that the information we know. So where does given that belong in the sentence below? So again, try these on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so here they're saying that the given that goes in position B. So he thinks that there is a 90% chance that they will win, given that the best player on the other team is missing. In number 2, given that goes in the A position. Given that Victoria scored the highest grade on the SAT, she will get the scholarship. And number 3, the given that goes in position B. School will likely be closed given that there is going to be 2 feet of snow tomorrow. All right, so now create some of your own sentences using given that. So here's the example. He isn't feeling well. He is unlikely to perform his best. Given that he isn't feeling well, he is unlikely to perform his best. So again, try these on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, number 1, given that the test had topics that weren't covered in class, half the class failed, or you could say half of the class failed, given that the test had topics that weren't covered in class. Number 2, given that Kevin is driving, we are likely to get lost. We are likely to get lost given that Kevin is driving. Number 3, given that she is one of the 2 candidates remaining, there is a 50% chance that she got the job. There's a 50% chance that she got the job, given that she is one of the 2 candidates remaining. Number 4, given that tickets cost $8 each, it costs $40 to buy 5 tickets. It costs $40 to buy 5 tickets, given that the tickets cost $8 each. And given that the teacher gives a pop quiz every couple of weeks, and we didn't have one last week, the probability that the teacher will give a pop quiz is high. The probability that the teacher will give a pop quiz is high, given that the teacher gives a pop quiz every couple of weeks, and we didn't have one last week. And then we have if-then. We can use if and then when we talk about conditional probability. So the first conditional is used to make a prediction based on a probability. If it is cloudy out, then it will likely rain. So we use if plus the present tense plus the subject plus the future with will. The zero conditional is used to talk about facts. If it is cloudy out, then there is a 60% chance of rain. So here it's if plus the present tense plus the subject plus the present tense. All right, so then try these. You're going to use the correct form of the verb that's given, and try these on your own, and then restart the video when you're ready to check your answers. So if it is snowing, then there is a 10% higher chance of a car accident. If I leave now, I will probably arrive on time. If you buy a lottery ticket every day, there is still a very small chance of winning. I think that the teacher will give me an A on the assignment if I try my hardest. All right, so read each sentence and then decide if the statement below it is true or false. So again, you can try these on your own and then restart the video when you're ready to check. All right, the probability that the team will win, given that their star player is hurt, is 15%. True or false? If the star player is hurt, then the team is unlikely to win. Well, that's true, because 15% is a very low percentage. The probability that school will be closed is 90%, given that there is going to be a snowstorm. There is a 90% chance that it will snow. Well, that's false. The 90% isn't related to the snow, it's the 90% chance that school will be closed. Given that he picked a blue marble first, there's a 25% chance that he picks a red marble next. He is unlikely to pick a blue marble next. Well, this one they're saying is false. 25% though, I mean, that doesn't seem like a huge percentage, but I guess it is 1/4, so 1 out of 4 chances that he would, or 3 out of 4 chances would be that he's likely to pick the blue marble next. But I guess they're saying there's at least a 25% chance that he picks a red marble. Given that 82% of voters in this state are registered as Democratic, the probability that the Democratic will be elected is high. Well, that is true, because 82% of the voters being registered Democratic is pretty high. Given that the roads are icy, there's a higher chance of a car accident. True or false, the roads are icy today? Well, yes. It says given that the road is icy, so that's the information that we know. All right, a student interviewed 500 student athletes and found the following results. So look at the table below, and can you make a statement using given that and another statement using if? So we have stretches, does not stretch, and the total, injury in the last year, no injury in the last year, and the total. And then we have some questions to answer. So go ahead and try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So what is the probability that a randomly selected athlete stretches before exercising if they had an injury last year? So it would be 34 out of 125. What is the probability that a randomly selected athlete that had no injuries in the last year does not stretch before exercising? Well, that's 174 out of 375. And if a randomly selected athlete does not stretch before exercising, what is the probability that they had an injury last year? Well, that would be 91 out of 265. So the injuries out of the total of the people that did not stretch. All right, and then the opposite of conditional events are unconditional or independent events. So it says read the problems and decide if the events are conditional or independent, but do not solve the problem. Okay, go ahead and read those on your own and see if you can answer the questions, and then restart when you're ready to check. Okay, a jar contains 12 marbles. 10 marbles are blue and 2 marbles are red. 2 marbles are chosen without replacement. The first one is not put back before the second one is drawn. What is the probability that both marbles are black? Well, these events are conditional. The result of the first event will impact the second. A coin is flipped 5 times. The result of the first 4 flips is heads. What is the probability that the coin will land on heads the final time? So these events are independent. The result of the first event doesn't impact the second. And on a 6-sided die, each side has a number between 1 and 6. You roll a 3 the first time and a 4 the second time. What is the probability of throwing a 3 or 4 again on the third roll? So again, these events are independent. The result of the first event doesn't impact the second event. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions, leave those for me in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.